I mean, if you're a Bears fan, you're thinking forward progress. Come on.
10, 219, 219.
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abbatacola on 312 Sports.
We are always thinking forward progress here on Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears and NFL podcast. And we've been trying to answer this question about when the Ben Johnson has said, and by the way, happy birthday, Ben Johnson.
Oh, nice.
Know what he is today?
40.
He's a man. Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
I hope he continues to get a whole hell of a lot better, though.
That's 35, right? 35 years old, not going to get
that what it was?
Hell of a lot better.
Okay.
But he is the official. He's a man. It used to be 13. You have your bar mitzvah. You're a man. But now because of Mike Gundy, come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. All right. Well, congratulations, Ben. You're 40.
Well, happy birthday, buddy.
Yes. Happy birthday, Mike. And Bryson Graham of the Bulls has to wait until he gets to become a man, and he could have his Gundy mitzvah at that point. So Ben Johnson said that the pass rush is going to get better because they're going to coach it better, right?
Correct.
And that was weird, right?
Which is why they addressed the roster only through free agent signings of rotational players and no one on the edge.
How are they going to get better? How is the pass rush going to get coaching? We're going to coach him better. We're going to coach him harder. And we thought, well, that's weird. And I've never heard anything like that before. Well, we get a little more information now about what that is and what that might mean, because Dennis Allen provided some insight, and I'm just going to present what he said. And you tell me if this helps, because frankly, I didn't like that. I don't like the idea that, well, you're going to coach better or coach harder, because the question then is, well, why didn't you figure that out already? Why didn't you do that last year? Why are you late to that? Why are you just starting it now? And it seems like an awfully convenient thing that it just so happened that the one area of the team that wasn't good is the one area of the team that now you're just figuring out you didn't coach well enough or hard enough. Here is the Bears defensive coordinator. Thanks to Bears Wire here. We love Bears Wire. We had a lot of discussions this offseason about a lot of different things. And one of the things we identified was me, Allen said. We focused so much on installing all the scheme last year because it was brand new. And we do have a high volume of things we carry in the defense. We focused so much on that we lost sight of some of the fundamentals and techniques that it takes to function, to do those things. I don't think we were as fundamentally sound defensively as we need to be. So how do we have to coach it better? Well, let's minimize how much we focused on the scheme, okay? And let's focus not on what we're going to do, but how we're going to do it. I think that's how we're going to improve. So I ask you, is there validity to anything in there, or is that just coach speak buying time?
That's a good question, Daniel.
I think, to me, it's more of the latter than the former.
So initially, my initial thought here, just as we didn't rehearse this or practice through it, it is just coach speak. Because I have some questions that come through. Now, he says that they were so busy just implementing scheme that they weren't focused on how it was being done. I don't buy that over an 18-week season. I don't. I really don't. Like, how are you not watching game film and saying this guy is not doing this correctly? And then not addressing it.
How is that not your defensive line coach's primary job?
Right. It may not be Dennis Allen's job. It shouldn't be Dennis Allen's job. But how are your assistants not watching game film and saying, here's why this guy's not doing this correctly? Because his body's not doing this, or he's not acting in this particular way. Then why is it not being addressed and corrected then at that moment?
He just put this, whether he wanted to or not, when I read that quote, I went and looked up their defensive line coach. It's Jeremy Garrett. So whether he wanted us to pull this card or not, by Dennis Allen saying that they didn't teach the fundamentals, then one question I have is, what was Jeremy Garrett doing? If as the coordinator, you're installing the scheme, and with every practice, you're filming every practice. They sit in that room. They go over everything.
You're watching everything over and over and
if you're
over
talking
again.
about hand placement, if you're talking about pad level, if you're talking about these fundamentals of get off, of anticipating the snap count, of reading your keys, of knowing from a given formation what the likelihoods are and communicating these things, how did you not do this? And here's the other question. Does Montez Sweat really have to know these? Are you including the guy who's one of the 5 highest paid at his position in the league? And you're telling me that he didn't have the fundamentals coached right? And that was part of his problem?
Right. And we heard Ben Johnson talk about Montez Sweat saying that he had a really good year. Now, he said the numbers maybe didn't get reflected within the, pressuring the quarterback, but he was really good against the run. I mean, come on, man. That's not why you're there, first of all. He's not there to be this great run stopper. He's there to get pressure on the quarterback and to get sacks. That's why he's getting paid nearly $30 million.
Sacks. He's there to change games by wrecking games, by separating the ball from the quarterback.
And how many defensive schemes are there that you went through an 18-week season where you never had time to sit down and say, hey, this is what you're doing incorrectly. This is how you need to correct this. You need to execute this like this.
I thought this was all about being detail oriented. I really did. Let me read this again.
Yeah, because
okay, I want to read it again. This is Dennis Allen apparently being asked about the whole coach harder thing, because it sounds like he repeated the question. So how do we have to coach it better? He said, we had a lot of discussions this offseason about a lot of different things. And one of the things we identified was me. We focused so much. I guess he's saying I focused so much on installing all the scheme because it was brand new. And we do have a high volume of things we carry in the defense. We focus so much on that, we lost sight of some of the fundamentals and techniques that it takes to function, to do those things. I don't think we were as fundamentally sound defensively as we need to be. Okay, can we stop there? When did you realize that, and when should you have realized that? Did you realize that after one game? Did you realize that in training camp? Did you realize that in the exhibition season? Did you realize it 2/3 of the way through the season? Whose job is it? You've got a defensive quality control person whose one job is to go back through the film. You have cross-checkers and people to make sure that you don't miss anything. And your defensive quality control person only now is saying you lost sight of fundamentals and techniques?
Yeah, and was that not realized until after the season was over? In a review?
Right. How was that not realized at the time, and when we were tracking the lack of a pass rush throughout the season?
And I want to know what fundamentals, who, is it across the board?
Right. Which fundamentals, which techniques? He says, I don't think we were as fundamentally sound defensively as we need to be. How do we have to coach it better? Let's minimize how much we're focused on the scheme, okay? And let's focus not on what we're going to do, but how we're going to do it. I think that's how we're going to improve. I didn't like this when I first heard it.
No, I don't.
And I don't like it now. I don't have confidence that what was said, and now they're trying to explain what was said about we're going to coach better, we're going to coach harder. That with everything that's said now, it sounds more like excuse making.
It sure does, and it also opens the doorway, Dan, for another underwhelming season like this defensively. That's on coaching, and that exposes your coaching, and then your coaches can't return. If you have another underwhelming defensive performance from a pressuring the quarterback standpoint, then that opens the door to look at your staff and say, well, you guys, you know what, we had a main focus on what your job was going to be, and you didn't come through once again. So the first year, you just didn't realize what you were doing wrong. The second year, you knew what you had to do differently, and you still couldn't accomplish it.
I'm just keeping an eye on this because they've built up a lot of capital, and they're using some of it here.
It also takes a little accountability off the players as well, too.
Maybe that was part of it.
Maybe
this was
the point. Yeah.
Maybe this was the year to do that, saying, look, Dio, Montez, we're gonna run some interference for you on this one. We're gonna block for you on this one. But after this season, it also, whether DA meant to or not, but now you're talking about Jeremy Garrett is the defensive line coach. This is all supposed to be under his purview at the NFL level.
Yeah,
I don't know that I buy the premise.
He just took that spotlight and put it right on him.
Yeah, he did. I don't know that I buy the premise. There's this finite amount of time where you're choosing what you're coaching, and by concentrating on something more, it's going to be better. Like, I'm not even sure I buy the entire premise.
I don't. It sounds like a lot of coach speak. The whole idea of we lost sight of the fundamentals, that's the nature of what you should be doing week in and week out. That's what practice is for.
It's your job not to.
That's film study.
It's your job to not lose sight. What do you mean you lost sight of the fundamentals? What aspect of your coaching? You're right, Maddie. What fundamentals? What techniques? And who?
Yes.
Who lost sight of which? What did Gervon Dexter's pad level come up a certain week? Did Montez Sweat not adjust to a double team by finding a proper counter? When you're talking about fundamentals, you're talking about weight balance. You're talking about your angle. You're talking about leverage, fundamentals. So if somebody's screwing that up, how often are you telling them that? When are you noticing? During practice, after practice, during games, after games? Like this all merits further questioning.
Well, and also, too, Dan, you have to contrast that to the things the head coach said about individual players. Montez Sweat had a great season. And he said the guys before they got injured, the guys who did get injured before they got injured were on a great trajectory, that they were on the upswing. Austin Booker had a great season when he got healthy. So which is it? Like, these guys have great seasons and they were headed in the right direction, or did we lose all track of fundamentals and that's why they didn't play very well? That's why we didn't pressure the quarterback, because we lost sight of the fundamentals and we weren't coaching them enough.
Yeah, this stuff doesn't, to this point, to me, pass the smell test. And it doesn't.
No, it sounds like a lot of coach speak. And
it doesn't withstand further scrutiny.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know if this is just a way of talking about, because again, we've talked about this so many times now, Dan, since the draft.
Before the draft, in free agency.
Person outside of the Bears organization said their main areas of concern are defensive line and edge rusher. And they didn't address it except with rotational bodies through free agency in the defensive tackle position, and nothing on the edge. Every single person said that. Every NFL expert, every guy who wants to express an opinion about the draft and the Bears' needs, all said the same things. So I don't know if this is just a way of helping the GM out, the aftermath of the draft, and saying, hey, you know what? We need to do better. We lost track of this. Because I mean, you're indicting yourself as the coaching staff. And I guess they can take some of the focus off the players, but it puts it squarely on you. If there isn't success now, what are you going to do? Turn around and blame the players? And which then blames your general manager and your head coach?
I would just say open folder, open item.
Yes.
I just want to establish this as we are. This is something that is going to come up again, and save everything that is being said about it, because we're going to keep an eye on how this is handled if it continues to be a problem. And maybe it's not. And maybe this is Ben Johnson and he's confident enough that it's going to be fixed and it's not going to be an issue. And he'll just say, yeah, we know what we did wrong. We screwed it up. We didn't harp on this enough, and we're going to, and it's going to be fine. And you guys aren't going to worry about it. That would be fantastic. And I hope he's right.
Yeah, no, I agree. But it does sound it's questionable and fishy.
Yeah, it's sketchy. Sketchy.
A little bit. Over the weekend, too, we learned of a veteran signing for the wide receiver room. And I know when we talked about it, we discussed it over the weekend at length, that you were just overjoyed. There was just pure excitement and enthusiasm that the Chicago Bears did sign wide receiver Scotty Miller to a deal to add a veteran presence to the wide receiver room.
Okay. He's a toy football player. That's what he is. I don't know what he does for you other than be a body in the room.
Yeah.
He's shorter than I am. He's a hell of a lot faster than I am, but he's a toy football player. He doesn't really do anything. Right?
Yeah, and I mean, we can't really expect a whole lot of production. I mean, what did I say in our
what'd you say, 30 targets?
20 targets tops, maybe, in the way this wide receiver room is shaping up?
Well, he had 9 catches last year with Pittsburgh. He's been with Tampa, Atlanta, and Pittsburgh. He played in 13 games last year, 13 games the year before. He had 5 catches in 2024. He had 9 catches in 2025.
Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Listed at 5'9", 174. I think he's pushing it at 5'9". I think he's pushing it. But people love him, and he's from here. He's from Barrington.
Yes.
Barrington High School. Played at Bowling Green. So great. I'm just not,
so we'll see what that all turns out to be.
I thought it was punt return. I thought if you're gonna have Xavier Thomas as kickoff return, and this will be your specialist punt return guy, but
that's Raymond. Isn't he the punt guy?
I think so.
Yeah, I think Khalif Raymond's your punt returner.
Yeah, he doesn't even really do that.
Yeah. I don't know. Field Yates on ESPN, Dan, he had a list of players that were non-first round draft picks that he believes will have immediate impact on their teams.
Oh, can I guess one?
Sure, go ahead.
Malik Muhammad.
It was not Malik Muhammad, but there was a bear. There was a bear that he had selected, but it was not Malik Muhammad. Although I believe Malik Muhammad is going to have a huge impact when he takes a starter's job real soon.
I'm starting to think that's he's sort of like the Roshan Johnson of this draft, the way that they're talking about him. Even and it's no coincidence, or it is a coincidence, the same school, but it just sounds like the way they're talking about him is the way you talk about somebody who you think is going to be more important than maybe you realized.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's going to be that guy. But Field Yates had Sam Roush as a guy that will be immediate impact as a non-first round pick, which isn't going out too far on a limb because of the fact that he replaced Durham Smythe, who was in, I believe, 25% of the offensive snaps as the third tight end, and he was on half the special team snaps, which they expect Roush to be a part of as well too. But it's interesting because then you pair that with the selection of Xavier Thomas. And I watched a lot of his highlight film over the weekend. That dude's something. And I could understand watching his highlight film why Ben Johnson was so excited about being able to draft Xavier Thomas. But now you've gone 2 years in a row drafting a tight end and a wide receiver when you didn't think they were going to draft a tight end and a wide receiver. And to do it the second year, it was even more surprising than the first year. But it all worked out pretty well, I would say, 2 years ago for that draft class. And I'm hoping that it works the same way here. And Sam Roush being asked of what he's going to be asked to do this year, he certainly can fill in that third tight end slot really well. And I'm more excited about Xavier Thomas today than I was initially after watching a lot of his highlight film.
Here's what Press Taylor said regarding Roush's role. To be determined. That's the fun part of it. We don't have a game for 4 months, so seeing where it can go with us. That 13 personnel was something we felt like where our game was trending, where our offense was trending. So you see a role in 13 personnel there with the way Durham Smythe played. He was a very experienced player, could do a lot of different things. We'll figure out what Sam's strengths are. And how he complements those other tight ends. And then we'll use as many tight ends or as many personnel groupings as we need to attack whatever defense we're seeing that week. Now, but here's the stuff with Malik Muhammad, because if you heard what they were doing is they were playing him also at nickel
Mm-hmm.
playing him inside because they want everybody to be cross-trained. They've been outside corner and nickel. They also want to bring in competition for Tyreek Stevenson.
Yeah, that's why they were excited about being able to land Malik Muhammad because of the versatility, which was one of the key attributes they were looking for in their player, speed and versatility.
Allen said he's a guy we're excited about. He's got a guy that's got a lot of skill set we're looking for. And now we'll just see how quickly he progresses. Okay. He's going to have a chance.
Yeah, he's going to have a chance. Xavier Thomas, too, a guy that can carry the ball, and they even talked about him being able to carry the ball between the tackles, and he had a little bit of experience. I generally don't want to see that from a guy that I'm expecting a lot from as a wide receiver, but is he a little bit of a smaller version of like a Jameson Williams for the Lions?
He's got high praise, and he does have the flat out speed.
He's got the speed for it. Now, Williams has got a couple inches on him, a few inches at least, and weight as well, too. But is that kind of like the idea, maybe what Ben Johnson sees or envisions for what Thomas can do with just that crazy ass speed?
Yeah, I don't know enough about him yet because there were a lot of times where there's Xavier Williams on some of those crossing routes. Excuse me, Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams. Caleb Wilson.
Caleb Williams. Yeah, there were several times where it was that they would use that speed on the crosses to pull guys away to get him isolated in one-on-ones.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is what the other guys are doing, where Colston Loveland runs the seam. I know that there's the, what do they call it? The sail, like post sail. And we have the different route dagger combo that we always call it. I think it's the dagger cross where that is the route that you're talking about. And sure, I mean, ideally all your wide receivers can run all the routes,
right?
And you don't want to just pigeonhole a guy and say he's this guy and he's that guy and he's this guy. That it take fast people and then put them in combinations that get them open.
Right.
I don't think he's trying to just match pieces from Detroit.
No. I don't think so. But I think maybe just having that kind of a gadget guy that can do more than just be that speed guy as well, too. And hearing what he had to say over the weekend, also Xavier Thomas, one thing I know for sure is that if he's not a primary guy on a route, he's still going to use that speed. I mean, I think he's going to be all out 100% in on his routes, which is obviously a positive impact for the entire team, for the offense. We're never going to have to worry about him not running through his routes.
No, because you turn him on and he just goes. Yeah, you just press start on that guy. I'm definitely not worried about him finishing plays. No.
Jeremiah Love, Dan, signed his rookie deal with the Arizona Cardinals.
Congratulations, Jeremiah.
You saw this. Yes, he signed a 4-year, $53.9 million fully guaranteed contract, making it the most guaranteed money ever given to an NFL running back.
Okay.
So he stated, now listen to this. This was really interesting. He stated he plans to save his entire deal relying on NIL money for expenses. So again, here's the recap. $53.9 million fully guaranteed, new league record for running backs, surpassing the previous record of $36 million. Okay. The deal includes a 5th-year team option, obviously common for high first-round picks. No spend plan. Love expressed that due to his financial comfort from college NIL earnings, he intends to save his entire rookie contract for future children and grandchildren. He plans to live off income from existing marketing partnerships such as with New Balance and Celsius while focusing on family, including buying his parents a house.
Aw, good for him.
He says, he says, with a lot of money comes a lot of trust and a lot of responsibility. And he said that, he'll be able to live his regular life, which he's been able to very comfortably through NIL money and endorsements, not touching that contract for the rookie deal at all.
Good for him.
And using wealth and financial advisors to help him plan for the future.
It's not quite what Shohei Ohtani is doing. Living off what he's making compared to what he's scheduled to make down the road.
Yeah.
But I think there are more people doing what Jeremiah Love is doing than you think.
I love hearing it. I love hearing it from a guy who was drafted that high, talked about it, and it's not going out and buying as many. And maybe he's going to have some really expensive stuff, which he's earned and entitled to by throwing his body into car accidents week after week after week after week, and it's only going to get worse now in the NFL. But not living this flashy lifestyle. Look at me, but thinking about children he doesn't have, grandchildren he doesn't have. Thinking about his family and thinking about future generations of wealth. And it's like, hey, I got this money and I could, he could go out and blow it all and live a great, have a lot of fun. But it's like, I'm going to put all this away, live the comfortable life I've been living off endorsements and NIL money, and just save all this for the future. It was cool to hear.
Yeah, I think it's a good example, if anything else. I think it's one thing to hear an agent say it or to hear a marketing guy say it, to hear an actual athlete on the day he signs his deal saying that is a really good example. That's what I think. And you just hope that as his money accrues really cool. And as he makes intelligent decisions, that he ends up being a benevolent, wealthy person and not a malevolent one. Because there are too few of the former and too many of them.
All right. I have a fun game for you. I know you like trivia. Are you ready?
But I don't really like trivia. I'm always bad
you love
at
it.
trivia.
I know you're no, you're not. You're not bad at it. All right, here. This is great.
It makes me nervous. I get it. Trivia gives me anxiety because I feel like I have to be good at it. It's like the Les Grobstein stuff. I don't know. I always feel like
so it makes you nervous because you feel like you didn't study well enough.
If you do well at it, it's of course you do well at it. You're Mr. Sportsy sports guy. And if you do badly at it, it's like, how could you be bad at it? So,
Well, still, all that being said, which is true, I know you love it. This was from CBS Sports over the weekend.
Okay.
The last time each NFL team had a quarterback with 30 or more passing touchdowns in a season.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm going to give you the team. You give me the quarterback. Ready?
Well, the Bears was 95, right?
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the team. Okay. Cowboys.
The last time the Cowboys had a guy, I'll say Dak.
Dak Prescott last year.
Yes.
Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions would be Goff.
And it was last year. LA Rams.
Stafford
last year.
Yeah.
The New England Patriots.
Okay, it's either May or Brady. I don't know if May did it last year, but
Drake May did it last year.
Okay.
Baltimore Ravens. Name the
Lamar.
quarterback. Lamar, and it was
Jackson.
2024. Yeah, you don't have to worry about the year. I'll tell you the year.
Okay.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Burrow.
Joe Burrow in 2024.
Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings.
Their last quarterback before McCarthy was Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold in 2024 did it. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Probably Baker.
Baker Mayfield in 2024. Green Bay Packers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Jordan Love did it in 2023.
He did. Okay.
He did.
Okay.
San Francisco 49ers.
Brock Purdy
in 2023. Buffalo Bills.
Josh Allen
in 22. Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs last did it in 2022. Yeah,
Okay.
he didn't have to give you that one.
No.
All right. This is the Seattle Seahawks. Quarterback is.
Did Darnold do it last year?
He did not.
Okay, so it was Geno Smith.
in 2022. The LA Chargers. Who's the quarterback?
That is the big tall guy with Justin
Herbert. Correct. They did it in 2021.
All right, I get it.
You get what?
Okay, this has got to build to something.
Yeah, all I need you to do is tell me the quarterback.
All right.
You can do that. The Houston Texans.
CJ Stroud.
It was not CJ Stroud. It was Deshaun Watson. And he did it in 2020.
All right.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ooh. Pittsburgh Steelers, last quarterback with 30 touchdowns. I'm going to say Roethlisberger.
That's absolutely correct. Nice job. Ben Roethlisberger in 2020. The Tennessee Titans, team once led by the Honorable Mike Vrabel.
Ryan Tannehill.
Correct, in 2020. Nicely done. How about the Atlanta Falcons?
Matt Ryan.
Correct, 2018. Matt Ryan. The Indianapolis Colts. Last quarterback to throw 30 or more touchdowns.
Is that Andrew Luck?
Andrew Luck in 2018. Look at you, Mr. Trivia. This is impressive.
Uh-huh.
New Orleans Saints.
Ooh, that's been now. I mean, I know who I think this might be. It wasn't because Jameis did it. I know he had the 30-30 season, but that was with Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go Breeze.
Drew Brees in 2018. Good,
Okay.
Good job. How about the Philadelphia Eagles?
The Philadelphia Eagles last. Oh, it's going to be somebody crazy. Was it Hurts?
No, it was Carson Wentz
Okay.
in 2017.
Okay.
Arizona Cardinals.
Arizona Cardinals 30. Kurt Warner?
No, it was Carson Palmer in 2015.
Okay.
Carolina Panthers.
Jake Delhomme.
Cam Newton in 2015. Jacksonville Jaguars. If you get this one right, you get a special prize.
Mark Brunell.
No, it was not. It was a good guess, though. It was Blake Bortles.
David Garrard.
Blake Bortles in 2015.
Okay, this is all right. This is tougher than I thought. All right.
Yep. Raiders. Last time the Raiders had a quarterback throw for 30 or more touchdowns.
Rich Gannon.
No, good guess, though. Derek Carr in 2015.
Okay.
How about the New York Giants?
The New York Giants, 30 touchdowns were thrown by Eli.
Eli Manning. Nicely done. 2015. The New York Jets.
This is going to hurt my head. A 30 touchdown season by a Jets quarterback.
Yep. And I know it's a guy you like, too.
A guy I liked.
Mm-hmm. Well, you like him now. I don't know what you thought of him as a quarterback.
Oh, he's not a quarterback anymore?
No.
Oh, I know who it is.
Yep.
You got it. Is it Fitzmagic?
It is Fitzmagic. Yes, 2015.
Okay. Yes.
Was the last time.
Yeah.
Denver Broncos. Yes, say it.
Manning?
Peyton Manning, 2014.
Yep.
All right. Now, these last four, are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. We've gone through 28 teams now.
All right, so you got 4 teams.
Miami Dolphins.
$30 touchdown passing for the Dolphins. It's not Marino, is it?
It's Dan Marino in 1994.
Okay. Wow.
All right. Cleveland Browns. The last time they had a quarterback throw 30 or more touchdowns in a season.
Brian Sipe?
Oh my God. How did you get that correct? Brian Sipe, 1980.
Yeah. That was the Cardiac Kids.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Okay.
All right. We're down to our final two. The Washington football team. Last time they had a quarterback throw 30 or more touchdowns.
Last time. Okay, this is going to be some crazy number. Joe Theismann.
Nope. Before Joe Theismann.
Sonny Jurgensen.
Sonny Jurgensen in 1967. Absolutely correct.
Because I was going to say Billy Kilmer, but okay. Sonny Jurgensen, who was brought up by when we had Christine Brennan on. She talked about her conversation with Sonny Jurgensen.
That's right. She sure did.
Yep.
She sure did. Which, by the way, reminds me of, I'm glad you mentioned her. Nancy Armour wrote a really good piece on Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
It was towards the end of April, beginning of May. I can't remember exactly what it is. But if you haven't taken a look at that, go ahead and do that on USA Today, Nancy Armour. If you want to understand why it's important that this is talked about and discussed about Mike Vrabel, you'll want to read that. She can certainly voice it and write it a lot better and express it a lot better than I have over the last couple of weeks. But why it's important to understand this. All right, the final team then, Dan.
The Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears.
Because it's not Kramer. It's not Kramer, even though he had the best passing season. If I remember correctly.
Because what did you say initially about...
I said Kramer. It's not Kramer. Kramer had the most yards in that season, but he only had 29, I think. You're saying 1995. I think correct? In 95, the best quarterbacking season the Bears have had was 95, but I'm pretty sure Kramer only had 29 touchdowns that year.
3,838 yards and 29 touchdowns. So when was the last time the Bears had a quarterback throw 30 or more touchdowns in a season?
I'm going to say never.
They never have. It's never.
Good Lord. Good Lord. That's as pathetic as the wide receiver numbers.
Isn't that awful?
That is awful.
So Eric Kramer fell one short with 29 and 3,800 yards.
Yeah.
The Bears, the only NFL franchise to never have a quarterback throw 4,000 yards or throw 30 or more touchdowns.
So I think I did pretty well on that, actually.
You did really good. I'm going to take everything away, and the fact you got Brian Sipe for the Cleveland Browns, A+.
Okay, thank you.
Very, very well done. I thought there's no way you would get Brian Sipe.
Mm-hmm. He was the quarterback of my youth. He was just there. Brian Sipe was always there.
Do you remember from what the Miami Dolphins offense was to us as when we were? So when I was in my early teens, you were in your late teens. I mean, what that offense looked like and what that was all about, and the fact that they haven't had a 30 touchdown passer since 1994.
But here's the thing, though. When you say Miami Dolphins offense, I'm old enough to still remember the last vestiges of the Bob Greasy era.
Okay.
And Bob Greasy was a winner, but not a prolific passer at all.
Yeah, that was my memories start with Marino for the Dolphins.
Yeah. See, I remember they were a run team. That was Larry Zonka and Jim Kick and their defense, and so they changed completely when Marino arrived there.
Yeah, that was very, very impressive. Very well done, though.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Every once in a while, this still works.
I'm not sure. Did we mention a couple NFL notes here real fast? Dallas and the Giants are the first Sunday Night Football game of the season. That's been announced.
Cash cow, that game.
Yeah.
That's what that game is an automatic big number. And you say, why? It just is. It just is. That's a big number game.
Yeah, Dallas at the Giants. And then one other note here with another free agent off the board. David Njoku, the tight end, signs a 1-year deal with Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers.
Good signing, especially somebody that physically gifted on maybe a prove-it deal. We'll see. I think now that they get their starting running back after an injury-riddled campaign, that eventually that offense is going to do what we think, despite the fact that Mark Trestman is there as a special offensive mind.
I always forget that.
I know, but he's there. He's working. Well, that's going to do it for today's edition of Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears and NFL podcast here on 312 Sports.
Forward Progress has stopped. 10, 219, 219.
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abbatacola on 312 Sports.